So here we are, Pilates continued, and we're going to move now. The last exercise we did was our 4-point kneeling position, and we were doing swimming arms and legs. So we're going to move now from child's pose position, and we're going to do some work on our sides. So if I bring myself back onto my mat, I'm going to come into my child's pose position. I'm going to slide these elbows behind my knees. And then I'm going to lift that chest. I'm going to bring myself onto my side. And we're going to see if we can take ourselves into this nice balanced position. So we want that long spine. We want that imaginary tennis ball between the chin and the chest. And we're just going to let this head rest on the arm. So if you need a little bit of toweling or something to support the head so everything's in line, we can. We want these hips stacked. Now we're going to see if we can take that little shoulder roll, draw the shoulder away from the ear, slide those shoulder blades down the back, and then I'm going to tighten that belt. So sometimes you can think about almost trying to create some space between your waist and the floor. Now if you find this position quite hard to balance, and you can see I'm wobbling a little bit, I would struggle to do anything more than balance here. So I'm going to bring my fingertips, the further away, the more support it's going to give you. It's going to give you a wider base. The closer these fingertips are to the body, the more challenging it's going to be. And then this will be more challenging again. We can also bring that arm up, just keep sliding the shoulder blade down that back towards the bottom. So find that base of support, and we're going to start with some side leg lifts. So draw that tummy button in, tighten that belt, and we're going to take that nice elegant movement. So you're just missing out my toes there. That's not the end of the world. We're going to breathe out. And we're going to breathe in. So the movement starting at this core, okay, and we're working those muscles in and around the hip area. Good. Breathing out. Now what we're going to think about, I've just got to tell my glamorous assistant Billy to stop knocking the camera. Breathing out and in. We're going to think about this really elegant movement. Breathe out and in. Now let's see if we can do that with that lower leg lifted. So draw that tummy button in, float that lower leg, relax the shoulders, and again let's see if we can do 5 more. Good. So it's a really elegant movement. Flow as we breathe out and as we breathe in. Breathing out and in. So we're balancing, we're using those core muscles, we're using the hip muscles. Billy, Billy tag,
yeah.
If you hit that again it might fall over.
Okay.
Lock down, families together. Breathing out and in. Good. Now we're just going to hold that balance, draw that tummy button in, see if we can challenge that balance. Whoa, she almost went. She did go actually. And then we're going to breathe out. Wonderful. Okay, so you may want to bend those knees. You might want to give that muscle there a little bit of a rub. Now it's up to you. If that was quite challenging here, you might want to leave the next one out. Okay, because we're going to do some clams. So I'm going to give you 2 levels. So the first level, we've got these feet stacked on top of each other. We've got a 90-degree bend at the knee, and the heels are in line with that tailbone. Okay, so this is what our clam looks like. We're going to tighten that belt, lengthen through the spine. We're going to open, and we're going to control it shut. Now, if you wanted to make it more challenging, what we can do is straighten out that lower leg. We've got that foot flexed. We're going to rest that ankle bone just over the thigh, and we're going to do those clams like this. Okay, so I'm going to choose this one today, and I'm going to tighten that belt, nice long spine, try not to arch that back, and as we open, we're going to breathe out, and as we bring it back down, we're going to flow. So there's control as we move out. There's flow and there's control as we bring it back in. Good. We're breathing out and we're breathing in. So we've worked these muscles already. We're giving them a little bit more work. Okay. They're really useful muscles to work. Deep muscles that support the pelvis. Just help everything stabilize. So that when you're walking, when you're doing your day-to-day stuff. Good. Okay, we're going to breathe out. I'm going to do one more of these and then we're just going to bring it back down. If you need to do a few more, that's fine. And again, I'm just going to see if I can give that muscle a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a rub. Good stuff, guys. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to see if I can just relax those shoulders away from the ears. We're going to keep those hips stacked. This is a flexibility exercise. It's our open door. You'll notice most of my sessions have got certain exercises in them. I just find this one is so valuable. So as we open, we're breathing out. We're keeping those shoulders drawn away from the ears. So we're not taking the arm too high. We're trying to keep those hips stacked one on top of the other. It's tempting to roll backwards with the hips, which is lovely, flexibility, rotation for the trunk. But what, Billy, try not to move. We're breathing out. And we're breathing in. Good. So we're getting this lovely stretch across the chest and the front of the shoulders. Now, I'm going to see if I can push myself up to this seated position. We're going to bring ourselves into a straddle position. Okay, I'm going to relax my shoulders and I'm going to lengthen through that spine just like we did as part of our warm-up in the first video. So now with that nice long spine, with that chin parallel to the floor, I'm going to breathe out and I'm going to breathe in. So I'm just relaxing those shoulders away from the ears as I come back up. Good. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Let's see if we can do one more. Just relax. Soften that elbow as we come down. Good. And then we're just going to roll those shoulders up. Relax those shoulders down. So now, let's see if we can take this the other way. So again, we're starting with those side leg lifts. Okay. So what we want to make sure of is you might sometimes notice that your heels are slightly behind that tailbone. And that will help, well, that will encourage you to almost arch your back, which we don't really want. So what we want to do is just find that neutral spine, okay, that natural spine position, and we'll make sure those heels are either slightly in front of the tailbone or in line with. Now let's see if we can support this head. Good. All right, are we ready? So you'll usually find one side is a little bit more stable than the other. So you'll notice the first side we did, I would have really struggled to do that. I'm still going to use a little bit of support, but I might find I can take it away. So I might find I can do this, and we're going to start with those side leg lifts. So shoulders are relaxed, nice long spine, long neck. We're breathing out, and we're breathing in. Good. And again, breathing out. And in, and we're going to breathe out. We're breathing in. Now we're going to see if we can hold that leg there, relax the shoulders. I'm going to need a bit of support to float the lower leg, so I'm drawing in that belly button, tightening that belt, and then I'm going to float that lower leg. So I'm going to need that little bit of support as I breathe out. So we're holding that strong trunk, shoulders relaxed away from the ears, shoulder blades sliding down that back towards the bottom. Good. We're just going to do a couple more of these. Great. And we're going to breathe out. We're going to breathe in. And then we're just going to lower that lower leg, lower the top leg. Again, We can just stretch this out a little bit if you need to. Good. Now we're going to stack one hip on top of the other again. Just check the position of those heels. Check we're not arching that back. Choose that leg position. Remember, the lower leg can be straighter. It's a little bit more challenging. And we're going to do about 8 of these clams. So the heels just staying together. And we're just almost using these muscles here. You'll notice we're almost rotating that hip bone, the end of the bone inside that socket. It's a ball and socket joint. So we'll all have different ranges that we can move to. Excellent. So we're just opening, controlling it shut. And we're going to take just 2 more. And this one. Okay, and we're going to relax. Wonderful. Now let's come into that open door position. You might want to roll this mat up or put the towel underneath your head, and we're just going to open and we're going to control it shut. Good. So we're going to breathe out, keeping that belt 3 or 4. Try not to let those hips roll backwards. Feel that really nice stretch across the chest. That's wonderful. Keep drawing that tummy button in. And we're breathing out and we're breathing in as we come back. So use that breathing. Use that breathing to control the flow. And we're just going to bring it back. Okay. So we're just going to see if we can push ourselves back up to that position again. And we're going to just see if we can pause you for 2 moments. And I'm back. Okay, so we've done our sideward movement. What we're going to do now is some work on our back. So if you have got a resistance band, this is a really good time to use it. You can use like a towel or just any long piece of material really, or we can do without it. But what we're going to do is we come down into that neutral spine position. Okay, just make sure we can see each other. Now I'm just going to find my neutral spine. Remember, if 6 and 12 are fingers and thumbs on a clock face, we want that clock face to be totally even, for the 6 and 12 to be the same height. And then we're going to relax the shoulders. We're going to take the band, we're going to put it around the front part of this foot. Now let's just check, let's see if I can move away so that you can see my foot. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my foot there. Now ideally we want that leg as straight as you can get it. So have a look at that knee joint. I'm particularly stiff as a board at the moment. So what we're going to try and do, I'm going to lower my foot so you can actually see my foot. Doesn't really matter what's going on there, okay? But we're going to place a pencil in that big toe and we're going to see if we can draw some circles. 5 one way, 5 the other way. Now, we're going to start from that lovely position here. I've got my big toe and I'm going to circle around that start point. So I'm going to do 5 one way, and I'm trying to make perfect circles around that start point. Now I'm going to imagine this knee has got a glass of champagne full to the brim on it. Okay, if you don't drink champagne, I'm going to put a hot cup of tea there. And what we want to make sure is that we don't spill a drop. Now, if we want to make it more challenging, we can make sure that leg is straight and that champagne glass still doesn't want to spill a drop. So we're breathing out as that leg moves away from center, breathing into return. Good. Breathing out and breathing into return. So imagine you've got headlights on your hip bones and they're shining on the ceiling, and as you move, those headlights aren't moving at all. So the legs are moving independently of the trunk. I'm going to change legs, okay? I'm going to see if we can just find that position that works for you. So the tighter you've got the band, the more you can sort of almost manipulate that leg. The looser the band is, the more the leg is in control. So we're going to make those circles. We're breathing out and in. If you're finding that too challenging, okay, we can actually bend that knee again. We can actually take the band away and make those knee circles, okay? But what I like about this one is that it works on flexibility. I'm like an iron bar most of the time. So when I do this one, it really gets me to concentrate on getting flexibility in those muscles in the back of the thigh, and there's hip mobility as well. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to bring that band back. We're just going to work a little bit more on that straight leg. So hamstring flexibility. What I'm going to do is tighten the band a little bit, straighten the leg as much as I can. I'm going to relax. I'm going to breathe out, and then I'm going to draw that leg a little bit closer, and I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to relax. And then I'm going to flex my foot. So that looks like this. Basically, I'm drawing the toe towards my knee. And what we're going to do is we're going to let that leg just gently fall away from center. Ooh, you can see my feet. Okay, and I'm just going to breathe out again. Keep my shoulder blades, my hip bones relaxed on the ground. And then I'm going to bring it back over. I'm actually going to let that leg fall the other way, okay? And remember, you're in control. So if you feel this hip bone coming too far away from the floor, just make sure those hip bones are in contact with the mat. So we're just getting that stretch on the outside of the thigh. So let's change legs. We'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so I'm straightening through that leg. I'm going to just draw that straight leg towards me. I'm going to breathe in, and as I breathe out, I'm really straightening, drawing that leg a little bit closer. So this is all about flexibility, these muscles here. Now, I'm going to flex that foot again, and I'm going to let this leg fall away from center. So I've got the door ever so slightly in my way, just so I can be beautifully on line for you. And then we're going to bring that leg and just let it fall across the body. Lovely. Oh, it doesn't feel lovely, but just see if you can breathe out, relax into these stretches. As you learn to breathe out, you'll notice that you'll be stimulating what we call the parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, and it really helps. So that's the end of that band. What we're going to do next is a little bit more abdominal work. So I'm going to straighten through this back again. I'm going to tighten my belt. I'm going to just see if I can take that pelvic tilt, and I'm going to come back down onto this mat. So again, I want my neutral spine. Knees are bent. Okay, about hip width apart, the feet, toes at 12 o'clock. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place one hand behind my head. Now this is not so that I can pull my head, it's not. It's so I can remind myself to keep that long neck. So what I'm going to be doing is lifting from my rib cage, not from my head. Okay, so what I'm going to get you to do is place one hand over that belly button. And what we're going to try and do is shorten the distance between the base of the ribs and the top of the pelvis. So tighten that belt, and we're just going to gently, gently lift your shoulder blades a fraction off the mat, and then we're going to lower down with control. That's all there is to it. So we're going to lift your shoulder blades, draw that tummy button away from that hand, and come down. So we're holding the neutral spine. It's a tiny movement. We're not pushing that lower back down into the floor. Okay. And we're keeping that little tennis ball just tucked between the chin and the chest. We're just squeezing these abdominal muscles. Good. So it's really controlled. So this type of abdominal work is suitable for our sort of age group. Good. Now I'm going to see if I can make it a little bit more challenging by taking both hands. So we're just increasing that weight there. but I'm not pulling on that head. Notice we're not doing any of this business. It's all coming from here. And we're breathing out. Just lifting the shoulder blades, clearing the mat a fraction, and gently back down. And again, let's squeeze. Let's see if we can hold it there for 1, for 2, and all the way back down. Good. And again, we're just going to hold it a little bit longer. We're going to squeeze, draw that tummy button in. See if you can zip up those jeans to that pelvic floor and down. Good. Let's do it one more time. Squeeze. Just lifting those shoulder blades, breathing out, drawing that tummy button in, and we can breathe in as we bring it down. And then we're just going to bring one knee and another knee into that chest, and we're just going to just gently bring it in. Good work, everybody. Okay, now what's next on the horizon? Okay, we're going to do a little bit more. We're going to do what we call a single leg stretch. So again, in that neutral spine position, I'm going to look up towards the ceiling. I'm going to let my shoulder blades relax into the floor, and I'm going to see if I can bring one knee into tabletop. So remember that knee in line with the hip. We should be able to balance that little glass of water on top of that shin, and then I'm going to see if I can bring both legs in. Now, we're going to see if we can imagine that we're just trying to touch that wardrobe in front of me with my big toe, and then with control I'm going to bring that foot back. So I'm breathing out and I'm breathing in. Now, if I want to make it a little bit easier, I'm going to reach for the top drawer on the wardrobe. If I want to make it a little bit more challenging, I'm going to reach for the bottom drawer. Good. Oh, there's a door opening. So, a little bit less challenging, good. A little bit more challenging, lower. Brilliant. So we're going to do alternate legs. Now just see if you can allow those shoulder blades to melt to the mat. Try not to tense the shoulders. We've got a lot of tension here because it's stopping that back from arching as we push the leg away from centre, as we push the knee away, as we push that foot away. Good. Now if we wanted to make it a little bit more challenging, like before, we can take those overhead arm floats. We're doing 2 together today. We're breathing out. Don't let that back arch. Do not let that back move away from the floor. Good. If we want to make it a little bit less challenging, we can take one leg down and we can do single leg tabletop. Good. We can actually add the arm float into that as well. All right, everybody. Then I'm going to bring this knee in. We're going to bring this knee in and we're just going to hug it in. Good stuff, everyone. Okay, so we're nearly at an end of Pilates continued, the sequel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if I can take this leg, I'm going to place the outside of the ankle bone and just let this thigh just roll out. So we're going to do a little bit of a stretch for those muscles we were working in the clams. So what I'm going to do next is just lift this supporting leg away from the floor. I'm just going to see if I can pull it a little bit closer. Now what I tend to like to do is just sort of hold on the foot, maybe put a bit of pressure on the inside of this thigh, just to increase that stretch while just gently drawing this supporting leg towards my chest. And then I'm just going to gently release. And we'll do the same on the other side. Good. So again, we want to relax while we're doing this. See if you can keep that foot flexed just to protect the knee joint. We're just going to gently bring that leg up. And we can either pull here, but as I said, I like to just let my leg do that work. And I like to sort of have a little bit of pressure here with that elbow. And then just play around with that foot a little bit. Just seems to add something, especially if you start to pull. Just gently draw that little toe, not so much the little toe, but the ball of the foot there towards you. And then we're going to release. Good. Okay, so for some of you who've done this with me, we can do the roll up. You can actually place your hands underneath, do that. But let's just see. We're going to breathe in And as we breathe out, we're just going to push those fingertips towards the knees. We're going to peel that spine away from the mat, one little segment at a time. Now, we're going to finish off just by coming into this position. We're going to stretch out. I'm going to breathe out. And then I'm going to bring my knees a little bit closer. I'm going to see if I can take this foot and just slide it here. And what I'm looking to do now is basically stretch out the hip flexor at the top of the thigh. So I'm just going to keep those feet hip width apart, lift the chest and just allow this stretch to take place. Okay, there's other ways we can do this, but again, I'm just working with what I've got camera-wise. We'll just stretch out those shoulders again, and then we'll do the same on the other side. I'm just going to slide this foot forwards, get that nice little stretch, and relax the shoulder. You can lift that chest, and then we're going to slide it back again. And a nice little chest pose. And then we're going to bring ourselves onto our sides. I'm going to see if we can take this nice straddle position. And I'm just going to see if I can open up this chest. Relax those arms down. Good. Now with that really nice long spine, I'm just going to drop my chin down towards the chest. If this is uncomfortable, you can bend your knees, don't forget. We're going to drop that chin down towards the chest, lift it up, nice long spine. I'm going to look towards this shoulder, take my head, gently draw this head so I'm looking towards the hip. I'm going to release. Good. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And I'm going to gently. And then I'm going to bring this foot in, this foot in, and we're going to just, actually I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to say thank you very much for joining me for Pilates Continued. We'll just keep providing you with some exercises, just gentle Pilates. The aim being just to keep that core nice and strong, to add a little bit of flexibility to those areas that tend to get tight. And look forward to seeing you next time. There were a few disruptions today, so I wonder if you noticed.